Welcome, everyone. You're now tuned into an all new, amazing edition of Sonia on Air. I'm your host, Sonia Hudson Payne. But before we get to today's celebrity interview, do me a favor. Make sure you subscribe. Sonia on Air streams across every major platform. You can subscribe to Sonia on Air streaming across YouTube. And if you are watching this episode on YouTube, make sure you also hit the notification button. If you hit the notification button, or when you hit the notification button, every time I upload an all new celebrity interview, you will be the first one to know. Sonia on Air streams across iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Pandora, Alexa, Google Podcast, Amazon Music, Buzzsprout, Stitcher, and Alexa. If you have any trouble finding Sonia on Air, all you have to do is go to the description section of this episode and press on the links. I also want to help you amazing brands out there increase your brand's visibility. I have access to amazing billboards located in 41 cities across the United States of America. So if you are interested in securing a billboard, email me. Email Sonia at soniaonair.net. I'm also going to place my email in the description section of this episode as well. How else can you support? Cash App. Cash App me at $Sonia Hudson. That's SANYAHUDSON. By purchasing Sonia on Air merchandise, you feel balanced with your values, identity, and integrity. Sonia on Air products allow you to make a bold statement while also being an influencer of positive social change. Get your Sonia on Air Empower merch today. So now that you've done everything, you've subscribed to Sonia on Air across every major platform, you visited Sonia on Air Empower merchandise and purchased some empowering merchandise for you, your family, and your friends. You've also emailed me to secure your digital billboard, and you've also sent me your Cash App. Now I can tell you about today's guest. I'm so excited. So today's guest, I have actor Rance Nix. Now, if you don't know who he is, trust me, you will know by the end of this episode. And after a few more episodes air of the Oprah Winfrey Network's latest series, The Kings of Napa. Have you seen that show yet? We're only 2 episodes in, and I mean, this is long waiting. I'm telling you, I remember I remember reading Essence magazine. Remember when Essence did have a magazine that you can go into, whatever pharmacy or at the airport, and you can actually purchase the magazines. They were talking about this series years ago. What I'm happy to see now, I remember for a while, it just felt like Hollywood was using the words diversity and inclusion, and it just became buzzwords. But I'm glad to see more diversity and inclusion in these television shows. But Oprah Winfrey, she got it right. She's a woman of color. And this show, The Kings of Napa, it is about an affluent African-American family who owns a wine company. We don't hear about that too often. All we see is us drinking it. You never see us owning it. So this show is definitely one to watch. And in just a few moments, we're going to be chatting it up with actor Rance Nix. Stay tuned. So let's pause for the cause, and I'll be right back with Sonia on Air. Meal delivery just got faster and easier thanks to Instacart. I mean, who has time to go grocery shopping and cook? Not me, child. I got other things going on in the evening time. Now, let me tell you how you too can have more time in the evening. All you have to do is click on the unique Sonia on Air Instacart link and use the special code MEALS10US and get $10 off ready-to-eat meals of $35 or more. And then guess what? Those ready-to-eat meals are delivered directly to your home from your local grocery store. Now it's time for this edition of the Entertainment Review. So today's episode, I am going to be reviewing a series that everyone sits in front of their television at midnight so that it can come on Starz Network. So today I'm going to be talking about Power Book 2 Ghost. Have you seen it? Have you seen it? OMG. So if you don't know what Power Book 2 Ghost is about, it is a sequel to the series Power. And Tariq, the son, is on his own for the very first time. The mother is in witness protection. Child, can't nobody find her. He done lost the phone. It's just a whole lot going on. Tariq is in college, and he is now becoming a better drug dealer in college. Okay? So Tariq, remember in Power Book 1 Ghost, he was just a little boy. Child, Tariq is he's a boy man. Now, Tariq is a boy man in college, like I said, just getting deeper into the world of selling drugs and murder. They got this young college kid just selling drugs and murdering people and sleeping with whomever, he wants to on any given day. I don't know if Tariq's character is believable. For me, I don't know, because sometimes when you fall in love with a character, it is so difficult for you to see their transition or to see their growth. But I don't know about the sex scenes with I was about to call him Tyrone. I don't know about the sex scenes with Tariq. I just see him as this irresponsible little boy, but he is definitely making a name for himself. Tariq is trying to fight for his life. He is fighting for his life, child. I'm telling you. He is now being accused of murder. And what was just so crazy in this new season is that he opened a letter from his father, Ghost. And the letter read, "Ninja, I always knew you was going to be in jail." And I was just like, oh my gosh, that's so harsh. So just imagine, your father becomes deceased and you get incarcerated and someone presents a letter from your deceased father. And then the father is just like, "Ninja, I knew you was going to be in jail." It was just a bit much. It was a bit much for me. And if you've watched, Power Book 1, I mean, Ghost and Tariq did end off in a very bad relationship. Tariq did kill him. I get all of that, but Ghost still had love for his son. But even I go back and forth, did Ghost have love for Tariq, or was it just James St. Patrick who had love for Tariq? James St. Patrick is the businessman, the entrepreneur. Ghost was the murdering drug dealer. So Tariq is just really just taking off where his father left off. He got involved with a family called the Tejada family, led by Mary J. Blige, who plays Monet, or Nene. Nene if it nasty. Okay. I would love to have a best friend like Mary J. Blige's character, Monet. First of all, she is always dressed to the nines. I mean, whoever styles that show, they understood the assignment. Mary is always showing up as her character, Monet, or Nene, like I said, if it nasty. She is no holds barred. She will do anything to protect her family. But in my opinion, her family seems to be her Achilles heel. I mean, they are going to be her biggest downfall because she loves them so much that she really doesn't know how to make the street decisions that she needs to make. So I don't know about that. Like I love the character. She's very, very strong-willed. She loves her family. She's in a little bit of entanglement. How many of you think she's going to get back with her childhood love? I think so. I really do. I think so. Because she just can't stay away. She just has that look in her eye. You know that look. Ladies, you know that look. When you really don't want to feel anything for a man, but you kind of do, you kind of say it with your eyes. And that's just how she looks at her childhood lover. And her baby's kids No, not the baby's kids. Because I hate saying, her baby daddy. So I was just trying to find a better way to say it. Her children's father just got released from prison after a long time of conjugal visits and dingy bed sheets in prison. He just popped up on Monet, just like, hey, I'm home, and he is turning everything upside down. So I'm interested to see, how much chaos he's going to cause. Who's writing for the character Ezekiel? Who? Because that character really seems to be on the short bus, missing a few chromosomes. Maybe fell down a flight of steps when he was a baby. Maybe drank bleach when he was a baby. Maybe sniffed coke and, they stepped on it with rat poison and it kind of fizzled up his brain a little bit. What else can I say? Something ain't right with Ezekiel's character. That boy is just slow. It's not even entertaining to watch. Have you ever just met somebody who's just so stupid that they just frustrate you? They just make you angry about everything? Even the way that he speaks. Not even that. The way that he looks. It's just like a lost, I'm in space type of look. Let me see if I can duplicate that look. You my mother. So, if you have yet to watch Power Book 2 Ghost, do so. Not only for the fashion, but I'm telling you, it is drama filled. It is full of scandal. It is full of privilege, wealth, scandal, drugs, sex, and everything that is oh so wrong, but oh so right. So make sure you go check out Power Book 2 Ghost. I'm going to pause for the cause once again for just a few short moments for a commercial break, and we'll be right back with actor Rance Nix, who stars as Dana in Oprah Winfrey Network's The Kings of Napa. We'll be right back. Hi, Rance.
Hello. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good. Let me tell you something, Rance. I'm really excited to have a conversation with you. Let me tell you why.
Yeah.
Because The Kings of Napa, I've been waiting for this series. I read about it in Essence magazine, I would say a few years ago. And I've been waiting. Yes, I've been waiting ever since on pins and needles. So, to have you on the show, it is a true honor and blessing. Welcome.
Hey, thank you for having me. It's exciting to be here.
No problem. So let's just get right to this conversation. I'm an avid music lover, and I think that every feeling, every situation should have a theme song.
Okay.
So I want you to describe how you felt when you got the news that you secured the role as Dana with a song. Describe your feelings with a song.
The song that first comes to mind that would describe my feelings when I booked the role, I was just excited,
right?
And I tears of joy. But I think the song that comes to mind was actually when they announced the cast on Deadline. Okay. That was when it was like, oh, this is real. And the song that comes to mind is The Glory by Kanye West. And he says, gonna take it to the glory. Na, 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 I can't stand it. Oh, yeah, now. And that song has always been like the victory song for me. Mm-hmm. And that album, Graduation, is the victory album. And so if College Dropout is the hustle, College Dropout is I'm just trying to make it. I'm just trying to break in. I'm just trying to make people notice me. Right. Graduation is, okay, now people notice me. Yes. And that particular song on the album is the anthem for booking Kings in Napa and winning the role of Dana King.
Yeah. That's an excellent song. So once you name that song, Glory, I already imagined in my mind. I come from performing arts as well, so everything is theatrical for me.
Yeah.
So that made sense. But I really want to unpack your journey because, sometimes people audition for roles, they may get the role. But most people, there is a journey. And I just want to unpack your journey first. So you were born and raised in Atlanta, correct?
Correct.
And then you decided to move to New York City. Talk about why you decided to relocate from Atlanta to New York City.
So it was really an opportunity that brought me here to play Las Meninas by the acclaimed playwright Miss Lynn Nottage. I auditioned through Backstage. So at the time, I was just getting started in Atlanta. I graduated from the University of Georgia in 2014. I told my parents, hey, I'd like to pursue acting and entertainment and give this a go. I did not major in acting when I was in school. I majored in advertising. I did well. I got an internship at BBDO, an ad agency in Atlanta, my junior year summer. I actually told her at the end of told her being the head of HR at the end of my time at the internship in my exit interview. I said, "This isn't for me. Account management it's not it." And I know very confidently that I want to pursue acting, and I do not want to come back here. That is what my 21-year-old self told the head of HR, who had shown me great favor at BBDO. And I remember she looked and she said, "Are you sure?" And I said, "Yes." And I did not look back, but grateful for my time there, of course. And that opportunity led me to realize that, yes, I want to pursue acting, that office job isn't for me, and this is what I want to do. So after graduating in 2014, I cut my teeth in Atlanta. At the time, Atlanta was just starting to become what it is now, where every TV show and movie is practically filmed in Atlanta or some part of Georgia at this point, but it was very early on. And so I just kind of was going to casting workshops and figuring out how the industry works and how I need to get headshots, and this is how you format a resume, and so on and so forth. And then the play Las Meninas called me to New York, and I moved to New York the summer of 2015. When I moved, it was a twofold scenario. One, I said, well, if I go to New York and do this play, I want to parlay this opportunity into another opportunity and not just go to New York and then go back home to Atlanta. But on the other hand, I say, I don't really like New York. It's too cold. The people are mean. It's expensive. And it lacks Southern hospitality.
That's true.
But the former won out. I booked another play, Anansi Spider. It was a kids' play that ran during the holidays. It was an interesting but fun and opportunity. And then I signed a lease in New York City. I got a part-time job at Warby Parker, and that was that. I was in New York for about a year and a half. Then I actually booked Las Meninas in Chicago with the Hypocrites. It was going to be an even bigger production, about 36 shows. I would have been in Chicago for about 4 months. So I went back to Atlanta because I was going to be in Chicago for 4 months. So I said, well, I don't want to be tied to New York and try to have to figure out a sublease. So I just moved my everything back to Atlanta, what was for supposedly a couple months, and then I was going to go to Chicago. But after I moved to Atlanta, about a month in, they called, the theater company did, and they said that the play was cut from the run. Oh. So I was stuck in limbo in Atlanta.
Wow.
But I left New York on good terms at that point. I had a church community. I had friends in New York, and I was just starting to get settled. I left on a good note. Good. I was just, at the time, 25. I said, well, maybe I give New York another shot. Mm-hmm. If I don't like it, I can spend a couple of years in New York and come back. I'll be 27, 28, no big deal. And I put in my time. I'm still a young buck if I come back. But I decided to go back. I also decided to pick up real estate because it was an opportunity that could reward the hustle, reward my grind and my.
I want you to pause there though, because you've said a lot of gems there. Because I just captured the age of 21 where you made a significant shift and decision to tell someone at HR, listen, this isn't for me. I won't be back. And deuces. That's huge because a lot of people, 21-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 40, 50, 60, 70, they don't know how to stand in their truth. Was that difficult for you to tell someone at the age of 21, this just isn't for me? Because that was a good job.
Yeah, it was a good job. Right. So to backtrack a little bit, when I was in school, I was kind of sort of doing entertainment things.
Okay.
I was hosting philanthropy events on campus. I did a couple hype videos for the football team. I went to University of Georgia. Football is huge at UGA. Go Dogs, national champs. We finally did it. And so I was making a name for myself in Athens at the University of Georgia. Okay. And so by the end of junior year, I was pretty well known on campus.
Okay.
And I had already kind of made a decision in my mind, whether I had told my parents or not, right, that I want to be big, I want to be huge, and I want to make a name for myself. And I think just being a young buck at that time couldn't tell me nothing. Mm-hmm. And there's just a level of confidence
and fearlessness,
maybe, and feeling yourself, at least for me, and maybe it was unique to me, but I just feel like when you're younger, you take more risks.
Yeah.
Just because you're younger. You don't know any better. You don't know anything about bills. You don't know anything about obligations, or like, well, what if it doesn't work out? You're not really thinking about anything like that.
Right.
And I wasn't thinking that when I was at BBDO. It was just, this is what I want to do. I know I don't want to do this. So, but yeah, that's what it is. And so that's what I decided.
Right. Well, I'm glad to hear that you had some sort of training in acting, because I was thinking, okay, you just woke up one day and said, you know what? I'm gonna be an actor today.
Oh, no. I respect the game. When I was in Atlanta after graduating, I took classes with Mr. Michael H. Cole, and I knew, and also just my dad instilled this in me. You got to be better than everybody else. You have to be excellent at your craft, and being unique. I happen to have dwarfism. I'm 4'6". Mm-hmm. I gotta show out. I gotta be better than everybody else, and so that's always been in my DNA as well. And so, yeah, when people that I know or people that I don't know come up to me or explain to me, "Oh, hey, I want to be an actor. Can you tell me how to be an actor?"
Uh-huh.
I laugh on the inside, because more often than not, I can just hear it in their tone. It's they want to be famous,
right?
And I laugh too, because when people come to me with an almost like cavalier excitement, it's like, you don't understand,
right,
the work that goes into this. You're just trying to pop off and be famous and be an influencer and do cool stuff. That's all fun, and hey, I'm not gonna knock into that, because I want to do those things too, but there's a level of respect and a greater respect for the game when you've been in it and you've been grinding, and at this point, gratefully, things are working out. And so now when people approach me, I also am more than happy to share my experience, share the journey, share the highs, and also share the lows,
right,
and just shoot it to people straight, like, this is what it is. This is what happened. This is what may happen for you,
right,
and you do what you want with this knowledge. But I'm gonna explain it to you as best I can, because ultimately, I want to see everyone do well and everyone live out their God-given purpose, whatever that may be. And if speaking to me and figuring out that you do or maybe don't want to do acting gets you one step closer to your purpose and your calling. Hey, that's great. And I love that.
Love it. And this is the reason why I purposely designed Sonya on Air, because social media is everywhere. Who isn't tuned into social media? But we always see people's highlight reel. And I just want to know, like, how did you get there? I want to know about the journey. I want people to understand that it doesn't happen overnight, because we only see the highlight reel on social media. But talking about the journey, you mentioned that, you went to college, formal education, and then you went to your parents and said you wanted to pursue acting. Most parents don't understand when their children want to go into the arts. They're like, okay, that's not a real career. What was that conversation like with your parents?
It was conversations. Gratefully, to start, they were very supportive. They didn't say no. They didn't say no, and they also supported me financially, and that's great. Very grateful that they supported me financially. But with that, they gave me a runway, and they said, "Look, by January 1 of 2016, you got to be off. You got to be off our payroll." And sure enough, I did. By January 2016, I had a part-time job. I signed a lease, and I was able to pay my rent. So I did it at that point. But there were also conversations, specifically with my dad, about which is what it entails, because he's an attorney, and so it's very matter of fact, very A/B. You put in the work, you see results. But with acting, the results are a whole lot less tangible until you book something.
Right.
And for him, it was like, okay, you're quote unquote acting, but like, what's coming of it?
Right.
And I tend to be someone who just likes to just do the work and then just trust that I'm working on it.
Right.
And yeah, I'm working on it, and like, you'll see the results. But I realized with him, I needed to be a little more transparent with what it was that I was doing. And so I sent him a long email. I remember I sent him an email also because we were a little at odds, because he said he would always ask, "What's your plan B?" And I would say, "I don't have a plan B. I just want to act." And I explained to him that it was a little triggering, because I said, don't say plan B. And he was like, don't tell me what to not say. You just need a plan B. And I remember it was a contentious conversation, but I just explained to him that when you say plan B, in my mind, it's you're saying, well, like, what are you working on to not work on this to make it happen? And so it would just trigger something in me that would make me upset. And plan A is plan A. Right. But I totally understand where you're coming from, and that, of course, I need to figure out how to be a responsible adult. But at the same time, for me, it's like I'm all in on acting. I want to make this work. And so I sent him a very lengthy email about what acting at that time looked like. And even still, acting is 90% going to casting workshops, working on updating your resume, making sure your acting profiles are up to date, making sure you have new headshots, sending emails, trying to get representation, doing short film projects that will never see the light of day, doing projects that are a horrible waste of time, and going to try to do other things to be seen, emailing 50 different managers to try to get representation, redoing your headshots because the casting directors say they're not good. You got a part-time job as well because you got to pay rent. All of these things.
Right.
And while also as 10%, you might book a gig that is actually worth your while, but it's still unpaid. It's still very small, very indie, and so on and so forth. So I remember I sent him a lengthy email explaining that to him. Like, that's what I'm doing. So when I say that I'm pursuing this, I'm not just running around New York willy-nilly.
Right.
This is what it is. And I remember when I had that conversation with him, it was very helpful because it was insightful for him to go, "Oh, okay. Okay." And breaking it down to him, like, progress is going to a casting workshop and impressing a casting director, and then they call you in for an audition. You might not book it, but you got called in. Progress is, instead of getting 2 auditions in the previous year, you're now getting 5 auditions the next year. And then the next year you get an agent. You finally have an agent, and then now you're getting 10 auditions. And that those are the measures of progress when you're acting and trying to book work.
Right.
And those are also ways to show yourself that, okay, this I'm making progress. Because people would also ask me at this point, I just turned 30. People would always ask me before I booked the Kings of Napa, well, how long are you gonna do this? How long are you gonna see it? How long are you gonna keep at it? And I said, well, I'm not dumb. And it's not like, you see those contestants on American Idol that cannot sing.
Right.
And they're like, but I know I can sing. I know I'm good. I've received good feedback thus far, and I've been making progress. I just got representation. I'm getting more auditions. I'm making it farther along in the audition process, getting callbacks and so on and so forth. So I'm making progress. And the people that know the business and know my work have given me nothing but good feedback. So I'm gonna just continue to do it. Ultimately, you want to book something,
Right.
but I'm not dumb. And at the end of the day, if it wasn't working out and no doors were opening up, I'm not dumb. And I certainly, at the time, I would tell people, don't want to be broke.
Right.
I'll go get a 9 to 5. I'll go get another job, make money because I want money in my bank account, and I might even go back to Atlanta because it's easier. Like, I'm tired. I don't want to be broke in New York forever. So all these things inform my work ethic and trust. When I would tell people, trust me when I say I'm working on it, and it was just a matter of explaining to people and kind of breaking it down because most people aren't familiar with the industry. And those conversations were very, very helpful with my father because I also had the epiphany. He is my father first, but also he just wants to see me succeed,
Right.
and be a responsible adult. And also it's kind of like he literally is an investor. And
Right.
for CEOs that run companies, they have investor meetings.
Right.
And in the investor meetings, they can't just go, I'm working on it.
Right.
Now they gotta have a breakdown and show the breakdown and be like, I'm working on it, but I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. The return on your investment might not come for a little while, but trust that these are the things that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so when I kind of put that together, I said, oh, this makes total sense. And it helped so much. And also just I would try to just be aware to if I got a call back. Again, for me, it was like I like to keep it all on the low. Unless I book it, I'm not saying nothing to nobody. But if I got a call back, because that's progress, let my parents know. Hey, I got a call back. And that's big. That's a big step. And so, yeah.
But I'm glad that you recaptured or recalled the conversation that you've had with your dad, because there will be plenty of naysayers. And, it is so important for people to stand in their truth because people will tell you no all of the time. So what was the strongest no that you've ever received as you were trying to pursue this acting genre? The strongest no.
I think the two that stand out, I auditioned for the Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix.
Okay.
I auditioned for Gary. Got the final callback. I went to Steiner Studios in New York City. I met the director, Todd Phillips, and I thought I nailed that audition. And when you audition for projects, when you book it, you kind of know right away that they're interested. But when you don't book it, they don't tell you. There's no hey, or more often than not, there's no hey, thanks for coming. We went with someone else. You just don't hear about it. So I actually found out about it on IMDb. Like a month had gone by, and I looked on IMDb, and they posted it on IMDb.
Wow.
And that was a bummer because I thought I was out of here. I thought I was about to. Hey, I thought that was gonna be the project that changed my life and get me to that next level. But that was not the case.
Mm.
Um, a couple others, they're coming to mind now that I think about it more. A couple others actually. I auditioned for the ABC Discovers Showcase in 2020. I
Mhm.
made the final callback to the mix and match round to get chosen to be a part of the showcase for ABC. I did not get that. I did
Mm.
not make it to. I think they picked 18 people. I did not get picked, which was another big bummer. Then I auditioned for this Marvel project.
Mhm.
That was in 2020, and it was a surprise one. Like I got a final callback with Marvel, with the Marvel casting. I
Right.
don't know what the project is because they don't tell you anything,
Right. They don't.
and they don't say a word. The guy, I never forget. He said he was talking about something about the story, and I had to stop him and go, "What are you talking about?" Because I genuinely don't know what you're talking about because you have to you literally they
They
tell
don't
me
tell you anything.
nothing.
No.
And then a same thing. A couple weeks went by. They actually emailed us and they said that they were going in a completely different direction.
Mm.
And in 2020, and by that point, it was late in 2020. I just felt that I was getting close,
Mm.
and I remember that one. That one really hurt. Because I felt like I said, I feel like I'm close. I feel like I feel like I'm close. I don't
Mhm.
know what it is, but I feel like I'm close. And yeah, that one hurt. I cried.
Really.
Yeah, I don't know why it hurt so bad. Mainly just because I felt like I was close
Mm.
and
But you were
yeah.
close because out of all of those no's, you finally got this yes for the Kings of Napa.
Yes.
So talk about the audition, the actual audition. What did they have you do during the audition?
So let me backtrack on that. I got a story for that because that's the
Okay,
story I gotta share.
please.
Because so rewinding to 2018 or 2017. So I came back to New York, started doing real estate. Real estate funded the acting dream. But when I came back that summer in 2017, I did a film called Trapeze USA. It was a
Okay.
short film, 30 millimeter. It was beautiful. We shot it in New York City. It was a comedy on political correctness.
Mhm.
And at the time, I thought that was going to be my big break.
Mhm.
And the director ended up deciding to not do a wide release of the film, which was also a big bummer. But it did screen at 3 festivals. It screened at 3 festivals, one of them being the American Black Film Festival. Didn't think anything of it. It was at the time it was another disappointment, and a lot of disappointments that I forget and then I'm reminded of as I tell my story. But it just didn't go anywhere, and at the time it was a big bummer because I thought that was also going to be a big break, but it
Mhm.
wasn't. Well, God's plan.
Okay.
Fast forward to January of this year. Janine, our showrunner, Janine Sherman Barwa,
Mhm.
followed me on Instagram. I didn't know who she was at the time, but she looked legit. She looked like she was in the business. So I
Uh-huh.
said, I'm gonna follow back just in case I need to slide in her DMs to pitch myself or to figure something out or like I don't know. She looks like she's got just make the connection. She's keeping tabs on me, so I'm gonna keep tabs on her.
Right. Good
Valentine's Day
step.
Valentine's Day weekend,
Mhm.
I get the audition for the Kings of Napa. Tough because it was a self tape. I had to find somebody to read with me, and a lot of my friends are in relationships, so I had to figure something out. But my boy Travis read with me. I submitted it Monday morning. Within the hour of me submitting, it was 3 scenes. For series regulars, you usually do 3 scenes, and I went all out. I dressed the part, and the breakdown was specifically they were looking for a black little person. I said,
Okay.
fire. This was actually the third audition in a row where they were specifically looking for a black little person too,
Wow.
which was crazy. So I was like, they're running out of black little people because I didn't get the other 3. And so I submit the audition. Literally within the hour, Janine liked a recap video. So that film Trapeze USA, I ended up screening it myself for my friends, and I did a little recap video to put on the gram and whatnot. And this was in beginning of 2019. So she deep dove in like this video, specifically the Trapeze USA recap video. She deep dove within the hour of me submitting my audition. And at that point on the breakdown, it shows who's involved in the project, the director, producer, who's Miss Winfrey, and Janine Sherman Barrois. And I connected the dots. I was at my real estate office. I about had a heart attack because I
know you did.
I was like, she's been keeping tabs. This is the same person. This is the same person. This is
right.
Long story short, they very quickly, hey, we want to watch and advise is the term. Basically, don't go nowhere. Please let us know if Rance books any other work. I'm like, I ain't got no work. Please pick me. I am available. I will shoot. I will go to Toronto where we shot. I will do everything. I got my vaccines, everything. Please. And long story short, I book it. I wanted to let everything play out organically. I said, God, if this is for me, I'm gonna let it play out organically. Janine. Once the ink dried on the paperwork and I knew I was in and nothing was gonna ruin anything, I DM'd Janine and said, hey Janine, I want to let everything play out, but I'm so excited to play Dana King. Can't wait. Thank you for this opportunity. Well, little did I know, I skipped a whole bunch of liaisons because she has an assistant, and her assistant talks to the Warner Brothers casting, who talks to their casting assistant, who talks to the other casting offices, who talk to the other casting assistant, who talks to my agent, who talked to me.
Right.
So I skipped over all those people and actually informed her. I informed her that they had told me, because she left me on red, and I was like, oh no, I crossed the line. Oh no. But she emailed me the next day and she said, I can't wait to tell you how I found out about you. And I said, found out about me. She called me sometime within that week. Hey, Rance, I just want to let you know that I saw you in Trapeze USA in 2018 at the American Black Film Festival.
Wow.
I was so impressed with your work that I was with my husband and he's let's go get drinks. She said no. I immediately went back up to my hotel room and rewrote the part of Dana King for you.
Wow.
And rewrote the character as a little person. He was not a little person. And I'm pretty sure she has said that she had somebody else in mind to play the part. But she rewrote it for me. And God's plan took some time. But 3 years later, I am a stronger actor over the last 3 years. I've become a stronger actor over the last 3 years. And what a testimony to be spoken about in rooms when I wasn't in the room, like Joseph. And to God be the glory. I think I was putting a lot of energy into like that project, the project being the thing that broke me and what was my break, and it still was, but ultimately God orchestrated it, his timing, his plan. And that was always something that I spoke. And even I always said, somebody just needs to catch the vision. I just need somebody to see who I am, see my personality, invite me to the room, and then watch me work. And then if you see me work, they're gonna go, oh yeah, of course, duh. No matter his height, this guy's great. And that's what happened. And not only did that happen with the Kings of Napa, that happened with Trapeze USA. The director, Mark Anthony Green, he called me when I was still in Atlanta. I was like, yo, bro, I'm working on this project. I got you in mind. I don't even know how he knew about the work, because at that time my resume was not that long. But he said, I know you're good and I want you to be a part of it. I said, well, great. I'm coming back to New York. But even then, he wrote Trapeze USA for me. Wow. And so all this time I've been talking about people just need to catch the vision. People were catching the vision
Right.
all before I even knew it.
Right. Yeah.
And they've been catching the vision since the very beginning of when I really started to grow as an actor. So I'm really grateful for Mark Anthony Green, and I'm also very grateful to Miss Janine Sherman Barrois for giving me the opportunity and just being able to bring Dana King to life.
That's an amazing testimony. And what I love to hear was that the role was written specifically for you, or the roles were written specifically for you. But what I also know is that there is a void in Hollywood for people like you, especially men of color. And then you also have dwarfism. Do you think that Hollywood is opening up a little bit more to be more inclusive for roles for you? Or do you think you still have a long way to go?
Totally. I think I'm very gratefully I am in a sweet spot. When I first started acting in 2015, I think that was when Hollywood really early 2010s and the first 5 years, 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, there were just kind of the rumblings of, okay, diversity is lacking in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And so when I really started my journey as an actor, there was a greater effort, and there has been a greater effort for diversity and inclusion.
Right.
And shout out to the trailblazer for me, Peter Dinklage from Game of Thrones and many other projects, for also paving a way specifically for actors who happen to have dwarfism.
Right.
He is the most famous actor that happens to have dwarfism, to prove to the world and to the industry that we're talented and we don't have to be the character that's the joke, the elf, the guy jumping out of the box and screaming and yelling and scaring people.
Right.
And so for me, I'm in a sweet spot. Like I mentioned earlier, I auditioned for 3 parts specifically looking for Black little people, specifically. And I realized as well, while up into things are changing now because of the Kings of Napa, but up until that point, my auditions were always few and far in between. I would always go in for the roles looking for little people if it wasn't demeaning or degrading.
Right.
But very rarely did I go in for just cool, confident, mid to late 20s guy, any ethnicity. Because I didn't get picked. I would submit myself.
Okay.
I would submit my headshot and resume, but I just wouldn't get picked to audition by casting. And so those auditions were few and far in between. However, because of the new push for diversity and inclusion, the auditions that I did get were always pretty big. So typically as an actor, you start off, you do 5 lines or less co-star roles. Then you book a bunch of co-star stuff, and then you hopefully get guest star, and then you maybe get some recurring stuff, maybe a movie part here and there, but it's all bit parts, very small roles. And those build up your resume as you get to know casting directors and so on and so forth. But I would skip all of that, and most of the opportunities would be bigger roles in movies or TV shows. And I mean, that's what happened with Kings of Napa too.
Yeah.
It's I booked a series regular role, and I've never been on TV or been in a big budget film. And so I'm grateful for this opportunity. I realize the blessing and favor of this opportunity. And now that I'm here and I'm doing it,
right,
I also am happy and excited to continue to trailblaze and continue to speak on it and speak on the importance of diversity on screen, but also inclusion off screen when it comes to being on set. Gratefully, I'm able-bodied and able to do anything that I need to do physically. But if I was a foot shorter, a set as is wouldn't be accessible for me.
Mm.
Or if I was in a wheelchair, a
Okay.
set isn't gonna always be accessible.
Right.
Like I'm thinking about when we were on set in Toronto, the trailers were a yard apart from each other, and you walk down the trailers almost like a little alleyway, and then there'd be stairs sticking out for people to walk up into their trailer. If someone was in a wheelchair, they
Right.
wouldn't be able to access those trailers. They wouldn't be able to go inside to set from the parking lot because
Right.
there are electrical wires covered in the plastic.
Mm-hmm.
Everything would have to be adjusted, and so while I'm grateful, and I am progress. More can be done and should be done, and I hope will be done. Not just for actors that have dwarfism, but actors across the spectrum of disabilities and so on and so forth. So I'm excited, and I'm grateful, very grateful that there is a urgency and a openness for actors that aren't necessarily tall,
Right.
cisgender,
Right.
white people.
Right.
To be frank,
Right.
and yeah, I and to that point, I look forward to proving to people that okay, cool, I got an opportunity because there's a greater openness for diversity and inclusion, but I can still act. I'm still putting it down like the rest of them, and I'm still dedicated to my craft to show people, just like in real life. Like, yes, you see me, and you will recognize that, oh, he's shorter than most.
Right.
However, when I open up my mouth,
You can
when
act.
I show you my work, you will see that, oh, he's a great guy,
Right.
and he's talented, and okay, cool. Like I notice it, but like that doesn't define his life, and that's
Right.
what I love about Kings of Napa in this show. It's Dana King happens to be a little person, but that doesn't define his story. It informs his story. There's a big difference. It informs it in the way that his relationships are affected and how he views the world, but it's not like he's a little person and we gotta let everyone know. It's just like in real life.
Yeah, your character Dana, he is a powerhouse on the show. I'm telling you. So talk about your character Dana. For those who have yet to see the Kings of Napa, tell them about Dana, your character.
So Dana King is the oldest sibling of the three siblings of the King family. So there's Dana King, August King, the middle child, and Christian King, the Dana's younger brother. Dana King is the heir apparent to the King Estates winery business. He is the CFO of the company, and he is that guy. He is confident, cool, smart, bold, brash, and just excellent in all that he does. He also is very cognizant of the way he looks, and so he takes great pride in dressing well. He has all of his suits tailored. He actually has a bespoke clothing line on the side because he believes that if you look good, you feel good, and you perform great, and everyone should feel the way he feels. So he is that guy. He is also the only married sibling in the bunch. He is married to his lovely wife, Rose King, and he loves her with all his heart.
Yes.
And in the show, his story explores how his drive and energy and belief in himself affects his relationships, because he believes that success is an equalizer. As a guy who was looked at different when he was coming up, as a guy that was counted out by companies as because of his height. And so success is big for him because he knows that success proves to everyone around him that he is that guy, and he is not to be slept on.
Mm.
However, with the drive for success, his relationships may or may not suffer because of that drive.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm thinking there's always like the sibling rivalry between, your character and the rest of the siblings. But I'm interested to see if the dynamics will change between you and your character and the wife. So I'm interested in the evolution of that.
Yeah. So you just gotta wait and see. For the audience, the first couple episodes, me and Rose, we love each other, and we will always love each other. Now, does Dana get a little lost in the sauce, and does that affect his relationship with his wife? You will have to tune in and find out. And,
I'm tuned in every week.
Yeah, and when I tell you and the audience that the journey that Dana King and his wife Rose go on through the season will not disappoint. It will not disappoint. And I'm so proud of the work that me and Samantha Walks, who plays my wife Rose King, put in on our backstory, because I think it just made our relationship on screen that much more potent and that much more powerful. And yeah, everybody is like, from what people have seen at this particular point in this interview time, the 3 episodes are out, and what people are seeing, they want Rose to they feel like Rose is maybe getting a little stepped on, but trust me when I say she'll be good. She'll be good. She'll be good.
She may be the one who is trying to blackmail the family.
We'll have to wait and see.
But as you watch each and every single episode, is that also the first time that you're seeing the episode as well?
In full, yes. So Janine, her desire, she said she wants us to watch it when everybody else watches it. So I am watching as the audience sees it as well. We saw bits and clips when we were doing some sound work in post, but other than that, I'm watching the episodes as they come out every week. It's definitely an experience, just given that this is the first time that I'm seeing myself on screen, and it was a learning process shooting a TV show. It's much more than just showing up and acting. You have to hit your marks. You have to watch where the lights are. You're acting in front of 20 other people, because there's the crew, there's lights people, the grips, the camera people, the camera assistants, the hair and makeup, the director, the script supervisor, the writer, the first and second assistant directors, the carpenters,
right,
the prop stylists, the all these people, they're all there. And so it was a little nerve-wracking, given that this was my first major production, and not having the foundation to go, okay, I know how this will play out, and I know how this will look on camera. So it's exciting to watch, but it's also exciting to see it and it be good, just for my own sake. Like, no, that turned out excellent, and you're putting it down, and it's cool to see, because with TV and film acting, you're just a piece of the puzzle as an actor, and there's of course something to be said about being an excellent actor, but you're just a piece of the puzzle, because you put down your performance, but then there's editing involved. You might have had the best take of your life, and for whatever reason, they might not use that take,
right?
Or there might be a scene that you nail. There was a scene that I nailed, and I realized not until 2 episodes later that they cut the scene. It wasn't even there. I was like, the scene that I nailed, it didn't even get in. So there's a level of peace that can kind of come with that, because then there's also the music,
right?
And then there's also the color correction, and then you might add a line or two in the sound booth, and you're able to redo dialogue if you fumble some dialogue. So there's so much that also goes into it that is cool to see. And a confidence booster because now I watch it, go, okay, cool, yeah, this is good. And I'm excited, and I hope that we get an opportunity to do season 2 because now I got that confidence in me. Like, yeah, this, yeah, you did it. People are enjoying it. You can be confident in your work, and the choices that you made also showed for just to you. So when you go back for season 2, hey, you can really start having some fun and just trust that you got this.
It's going to be renewed. I already know because it is an excellent, excellent series. I raced home last night just to make sure that I watched it. And I watched it with my daughter, you know, multi-generational type of series. Anyone can watch it. It really represents us in such an esteemed way of excellence. Even your wife, who plays your wife on the show, I love that her hair is natural and short. Just total representation of Black women all across the board. What's your dream role?
Dream role. Well, 2 dream roles. Cinematically, I would love to be in a romantic comedy and get the girl. I'm a romantic at heart.
Wait, I'm just pause. I saw you in last night's episode with the little love scene, and your wife was sitting on your lap. I said, okay, look at this, get his sexy on.
yeah. Within the confines of marriage. That was great. That was fun.
Okay, so the dream role, you want to play a romantic love scene or something?
Yeah, or just like a romantic comedy. I love romantic comedies. I love meet cute stories and that. So I would love to do that. I'd love to host Late Night with Rance. That's always kind of been a goal of it has been a goal of mine. I love culture. I love hearing about other people's stories. I love the journey as well. I love art, music, fashion, all the things that are offered in New York. I love food. And so I love suits and looking good every day. And I just feel like Late Night with Rance would just be a really great sweet spot for me because I love people as well. And we will see. And this is just the beginning, but that would be like the dream residency type role down the line. So we'll see.
So wait a minute. I wasn't going to ask you this, but I'll ask you now because you say you want a late night show. And I believe I don't call it the pandemic, I call it the plandemic. Over the pandemic, you did a virtual dating show. I need to find love, Rance. Help me out.
Yeah, it was cool. That show, Love is Quarantine, we're both retired, my roommate and I. But Love is Quarantine, we recreated Love is Blind using Google Sheets and people's apartment pods. Those were the pods, the apartments. And we wanted to set ourselves up on dates after watching Love is Blind. But the idea was people would get on this telephone, pick up the phone, and have conversations on the phone. And it was a smashing success. We went super viral. Our Instagram account had like 15,000 followers. We got verified. We did press out the wazoo. It was crazy. We had successful matches. And to this day, we have one couple, Allie and Justin, who actually recently got engaged.
Really?
They will be getting married. Yes. So I'm a successful matchmaker.
So wait a minute. All you had done was had people talk to each other over the phone?
Yeah. So they talked on the phone, and then we'd have them recap their dates and 60-second selfie videos that we would repost to Instagram. And then my roommate, who's a copywriter, he would write funny captions to kind of create the storyline or the plot line. So we were casting directors and reality show producers too, and hosts and matchmakers. And so he would stir the pot, and people would only see the Instagram recap. But that was the tea. They wouldn't actually be able to listen to the call. But with the and that's where the casting element came in, because we would have to tell people, look, 1, you need to put yourself on camera. 2, don't just go, he was nice, it's fun, and like we talked about jobs and the pandemic. No, Give us the tea, like make it act and give us the sauce. Give us what the people want. Say something spicy.
Right.
And it was like I said, it was a roaring success.
I love
We did not know that was about to be what it was. And I'm so grateful. Like there's a couple, Ali and Justin, who are getting married, and we're gonna go to their wedding, and they're so sweet. Ali is so intentional. Shout out to them. And who would have thought? Because we were trying to set ourselves up on dates.
But let me tell you, who would have thought is people who grew up in my generation who, you know, use the telephone to date.
Right. Right.
And we've gotten so far away from that. It is, you know, swipe left. Oh, let me look at their Instagram and see, you know, a lie, because there's a whole bunch of filters on there. So I'm glad you brought it back to the very essence of let's just talk on the phone. How you doing, boo? I like
exactly. And it took a second for people to catch on. Like I remember we did it all by hand. So I would connect people on my computer iMessage by hand. And they would start texting, and I say, no. That's not what this is. Y'all, one of y'all call each other and y'all talk on the phone. And that's what happened.
Well, if you're casting again for, you know, season 2, I'll let you know.
Yeah, if we do a spinoff or if we ever bring it back, you know,
I'll let you know. Now, I'm going to wrap this up, but I want to play a quick wine fire game. So I'm going to just ask you some questions.
Okay.
So corkscrew, twist off, corkscrew or twist off bottle cap for wine?
Corkscrew, because I think corkscrew is classier.
It is. Red or white?
Red.
Bitter or sweet?
Bitter. I like savory.
Weekends, special occasions, or anytime?
For me, special occasions.
Okay. I'm like a Friday, Saturday type of girl.
Yeah, special occasions.
Special occasions. Well, you know what, Rance, thank you so much for this conversation. It was a true testimony, and I'm telling you, anyone who watches this conversation will definitely be inspired. We didn't want to talk about the highlight reel. I really wanted to unpack your pivotal moments and your milestones, because I think that your journey is absolutely amazing. When my audience wants to connect with you or continue following you, where can they find you on Instagram?
At RanceNix, RanceNix. That's all my socials: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I do not have Snapchat though. And also on the show Kings of Napa. Tune in. You check me out there. Tune in every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on the OWN network. Also Hulu Live, YouTube TV, Watch OWN app, and Oprah.com. And if you use the Watch OWN app or Oprah.com, holler at your parents who have cable to get their cable username and password so you can watch there.
Rance, let me tell you, just a little secret. I did share my Hulu password with a few people because I told them, I was like, you got to watch the Kings of Napa.
Yeah. So share the love.
Show the love. Show the love. Rance, thank you so much. Continued blessings. I'm looking forward to season 2. We're going to claim that right now, because everything that you've spoken about, it's already been written. It's already purposed. It's waiting for you. You just got to step into it when it's waiting for you. Thank you so much.
Amen. Thank you.
Take care.
It was a pleasure.
All right now. So there you have it. Rance Nix. You can see him starring each and every single week on OWN Network's The Kings of Napa. This series is super, super important for us to just keep going. Inclusion, diversity is no longer buzzwords amongst Hollywood. We are actually seeing it happen. The Kings of Napa, just like I said at the onset of this show, just like Rance said as well, it is about a wealthy African-American family who owns a wine company. We don't see that too often. We see us purchasing the liquor. We see us drinking the liquor. We see us throwing the liquor on somebody, but we don't see us owning the liquor. Did I say liquor? The liquor. So make sure that you stay tuned in each and every single week to the Kings of Napa on the Oprah Winfrey Network. That was a great conversation. Great conversation. Faith, persistence, standing in your truth, and being unapologetically bold. That just seems to be a common thread amongst all of the celebrities that I have on Sonya on Air. And if you don't notice that by now, what are you waiting for? Make sure that you go to every Sonya on Air streaming platform and listen to every single celebrity interview from the beginning to this current one and then the future ones. And get your life. Really find out how you can leverage where you currently are to be where you want to be. Make sure you subscribe to every Sonya on Air streaming platform for tools and resources so that you know that it is possible. Also, make sure that you visit Sonya on Air Empower Merchandise. Send me that Cash App. And also make your shopping, your grocery shopping quicker, easier, and seamless through Instacart. So I think that's it that I have for you. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been another amazing edition of Sonya on Air. Smooches, dolls. Take care.